Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, international hotelier Hilton is preparing to withdraw its brand from the state-owned property after the government failed to undertake extensive capital upgrades, estimated to be over US $600,000, which is required to maintain the facility to international operating standards. According to lease agreements, registered records, procurement documents, union correspondence, and industry analysis reviewed by Guardian Media Investigations, the Kakash, Mako, PNM Media of Trinidad and Tobago. How come there were no concerns about this all the time when PNM was in office, though? The development, while not yet finalized, follows a pattern of financial underperformance, delayed capital works, and contractual signals. The Hilton Trinidad was constructed between 1961 and 1962 as a flagship development under the government of Dr. Eric Williams, opening in the same year the country gained independence. Built on the former Governor General's residence site overlooking the Queen's Park Savannah, the hotel was conceived as both a symbol of national pride and a critical piece of tourism infrastructure. Yesterday, Minister of Trade, Investment and Tourism, Kama Mirage, told Guardian Media there are ongoing discussions with Hilton, and it would be inappropriate for me to comment at this point in time. I hope that matter is resolved. I hope that the Hilton brand can remain here in Trinidad and Tobago. Nevertheless, my response was, were they concerned about their brand's reputation when the mighty PNM was in office for the past 9.5, almost 10 years? Now all of a sudden you're concerned? You can't give the government a little more time? You know very well that our country was facing an economic collapse just before PNM exited office. We are now in the process of trying to recover the economy. All of a sudden, now you're trying to pressure the UNC government, the Kamala Prasad administration, even though you were basically silent for the past 9.5 years. Give people a little more time now, man. Wait a little bit. Don't go anywhere. More local, regional, and international news up next. Residents of Marabella are eagerly anticipating the reopening of the point-of-peer refinery as the government advances talks with a slate of international and regional investors, raising cautious optimism that South Trinidad could be on the cusp of long-awaited economic revival. And don't get tired, people. The whole of Trinidad and Tobago will benefit from the reopening of the refinery. We will generate much needed foreign revenue, forex, the US dollars that is very scarce in Trinidad and Tobago right now. We'll be generating a whole lot more of that. Point-of-peer is the backbone of the energy industry and our economy in general. Once that is reopened, our economy will start to recover. And of course, you're talking about also empowering middle class, people that will be working with the petrotrin. Their purchasing power will once again be restored and increased, and therefore they will be able to boost the economy in those areas as well. The small businesses will definitely prosper and benefit. And once the businesses are prospering, what ends up happening? More people will be hired. And therefore, those individuals will have purchasing power as well. Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal revealed negotiations are underway with several major players, including Chevron of the United States, which is what I will consider that one of the most significant players, the National China Offshore Oil Corporation, Nigeria-based Owando, Indian Oil Corporation, and the Oil Fields Workers Trade Unions, Patriotic Energies and Technologies, which has submitted a new proposal for consideration. The refinery shuttered in 2018 by the PNM, always they have a legacy of shutting down everything, is now targeted for a phased restart later this year. This is what I'm thankful to hear. Later this year, not sometime next year. We need to get that done this year. With Munilal signaling that at least 2 plants will come on stream before the ending of this year. That will be the most beautiful Christmas gift Trinidad and Tobago can receive. For residents and business owners in Marabella, Point-of-Peer and San Fernando, the development represents more than an industrial restart. It is seen as a chance to restore communities that have struggled for nearly a decade under what? PNM. word of the proposed reopening spread, Marabella business people said they were looking forward to renewed business activity in areas that once thrived on refinery operations. Don't go anywhere. Regional news up next. 1,000 prisoners are exposed annually to skills training programs in technical and vocational education and training to reduce the recidivism rate by focusing on rehabilitation and reintegration instead. Inmates are benefiting from a plethora of training, all geared towards behavior modification, entrepreneurial skills, and academics so that they can seamlessly reintegrate into society. I mean, yes, of course, they need to spend their time in prison for whatever crime they commit. But while in there, yes, these types of programs are important. During the opening of the 2026 Guyana Prison Service Senior Officers Conference, Director of Prisons, Nicklon Elliott, said the prison population has started to enroll in the Guyana Digital School platform to further improve their personal skills. He also added that the GPS continues to expand the reintegration process by providing prisoners with a toolkit upon their release, which would contribute to their employment, thus giving them a fresh start. Because that's what happens a lot of the time. They come back out into society, it's hard to get a job. A lot of the times they don't even have the qualifications, and therefore what they do, they resort to crime again and then they're back into prison. Beyond inmate upskilling, the director noted that officers are also undergoing training programs to improve their personal skills, how they interact with the prisoners, and better support recidivism reduction efforts. A simple act of care, which was sparked by a newborn baby wrapped in a worn towel, has blossomed into a meaningful donation for mothers and babies at the Savannah Lamar Public General Hospital in Westmoreland, Jamaica. On Friday morning, the hospital's maternity department received more than 200 blankets from the United States-based Your Girlfriend's Foundation initiative and an initiative led locally by returning resident Vanessa Moore. Moore said the effort began after witnessing a close friend struggle during an emergency delivery. There was no receiving blanket to wrap the baby in, not even here at the hospital, she recalled. When I came to visit her and seeing that little one just hours after birth, wrapped in a towel that was quite tattered and not fitting for his newborn skin, I decided to get my girlfriends together. That call to action resulted in what Moore described as a collective gesture of love. From our perspective, it was really important for us to wrap all newborns, as many as possible, wrap them in love, literally with a receiving blanket, she said. You remember, it's not everybody that would have been prepared, especially when it's an unexpected birth before the due date then. And of course, and besides that, a lot of people don't even have the funding needed to prepare for when these things occur. So this was wonderful news coming out from Jamaica. Experts in the Ministry of Finance in Barbados are raising a fiscal red flag on 8 cash-strapped enterprises, warning that they are likely to put government's finances under pressure over the next 3 years. The Fiscal Risk Statement 2026, prepared by the Fiscal Risk Unit of the Ministry of Finance, found a 50% or 100% probability that government will have to bail out the Transport Board, Hope Ownership Providing Energy Inc., Queen Elizabeth Hospital Sanitation Service Authority, Barbados Water Authority, Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., and Kensington Oval Management Inc. In that period. Persistent liquidity shortfalls, recurring operational deficits, and weak balance sheets across several SOEs continue to pose material risks to government finances and remain the primary source of immediate fiscal exposure, the FRS, which was laid in Parliament last week, advised. So what do they want? All these different state-owned agencies, departments, to be what? Cancelled, like, or shut down, like how PNM, or what, privatized, like how PNM always shutting down everything here in Trinidad and Tobago. It's about management, people. And this is something that probably Mia Mottley needs to improve in her administration. Management. Any business can prosper. You have to have proper management. It's just like about Petrotrin. Petrotrin ended up only collapsing because of mismanagement under the People's National Movement. Just like everything else continued to collapse through the entire history of PNM being in government in our country. Doors to opportunity. Bahamians are being forced to survive a system that makes it harder to open a business than it should be. That's the view of Southern Shores candidate Denelly Penn McKay, who says the current process is designed to pull you down with excessive red tape regulations, limiting opportunity for small business owners. Penn McKay argued that despite the government's focus on tourism, many small businesses are not feeling the economic impact and are instead competing for crumbs. Something like here in Trinidad. She said an FNM administration would reform business license laws and reduce bureaucratic barriers. Definitely sounding kind of way on the conservative side as well. Less taxes, less regulations. That's what Republicans and conservatives are all about.
That the FNM will reform that and business license laws to cut all the red tape, to simplify compliance, and to modernize payment timelines so that businesses can focus on serving customers instead of fighting paperwork. A simpler system means lower costs, better cash flow, and more room to grow.
World class. They are creative, they are resilient, and they are hungry. What they need is a government that gets out of their way, opens the doors to capital, cuts the red tape, and treats them like they are the economic engine they already are. The FNM. We will unleash Bahamian enterprise by slashing red tape, fixing critical infrastructure, and investing $100 million directly into the Bahamian entrepreneurs.
International news now. Help is on the way. President Trump deploys ICE agents to airports nationwide to assist TSA amid funding standoff as growing security concerns, long lines and delays mount, with TSA checkpoints short-staffed during the ongoing government shutdown caused by the radical left Democrats. The move comes as Trump and Republicans battle with Democrats over funding for the Department of Homeland Security. TSA agents across the country have gone more than a month without a paycheck as Democrats hold up funding in hopes of securing immigration reforms. And the immigration reforms they are talking about is basically to try to what? To prevent ICE from doing their job. Now, of course, I as well want to ensure that ICE performs their job in a law-abiding manner, unlike what took place recently where I think a couple of individuals lost their lives. And also definitely continue to focus on the gang members, on the dangerous individuals posing a threat to both the migrant community and also citizens of America throughout the entire nation. That's what the ICE needs to focus on most of all. Nevertheless, and I have said it before and I'll say it again, and I know a lot of my conservative friends won't agree with me. I believe just like how the Kamala Prasad administration is showing compassion towards these migrants, they should be doing that as well in America. A lot of those individuals, even though they were wrong for entering the country illegally, they should be given an opportunity to be able to remain, even if it is for a temporary space of time. And each time they have to go and renew, whether it's a year, every 2 years or whatsoever, renew some sort of agreement until in time to come, they can be able to receive citizenship or, of course, go back home. That is what should be done. A little more compassion for the law-abiding members of that society. Now, people will say, yes, but they're law-abiding, but how they could be law-abiding and yet they enter the country illegally? We all know that. We were talking about individuals that really did try to enter America simply because they were looking for a better life, and they're doing normal jobs. they are working on the farms, they are working as maids and whatsoever. Those kind of individuals should be given another chance, especially when children are born in America to these migrants. Yes, as I said before, my fellow conservatives will never agree with me when it pertains to this issue, but that is what I believe. Now for the interesting facts segment, visitors to Japan are often surprised by spotless streets despite very few public trash cans. Cleanliness comes from a strong culture of personal responsibility. People usually carry their trash until they can properly dispose of it at home or designated spot, unlike Trinidad. They just dump it everywhere. From a young age, students clean their own schools, reinforcing respect for shared spaces. Even after many bins were removed in the 1990s for security reasons, littering stayed rare. Japan shows how everyday habits and collective discipline can keep cities clean without heavy enforcement.
Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News Travel Adventures. Kenai Fjords National Park, located near Seward, Alaska, is a stunning coastal wilderness where the massive Harting icefield meets the Pacific Ocean. Visitors can experience tidewater glaciers calving into the sea, diverse marine wildlife, and dramatic fjords. Key activities include boat tours, sea kayaking, and exploring the accessible Exit Glacier. Key travel details. Best way to see it, a day boat tour is essential for viewing whales, sea lions and glaciers, often running 6 to 8 hours from Seward. Only road access, the Exit Glacier area, is accessible by car for hiking and viewing glaciers. Activities: take boat tours for wildlife, hike the strenuous Harding Icefield Trail, or kayak in deep fjords. Base camp: Seward serves as the primary base for dining, accommodation, and touring. Timing: summer June-August is ideal for boat trips and accessing the park, though it can be rainy. Must-see highlights: Exit Glacier, accessible up-close hiking and ranger-led programs. Resurrection Bay, known for sea otters, sea lions and scenic berthing. Wildlife: look for orcas, humpback whales, harbor seals, puffins and sea otters. Join us again tomorrow as we travel the world together.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.